A 911 dispatcher called me back about an emergency that I hadn't reported yet. This is Scared with Jess, and today's story is about the call that came from inside my house while I was still driving home. It happened a little after 10 on a Thursday night. I had stayed late at work and was about 15 minutes home from when my phone rang through my car speakers. The number came up as emergency services, so I answered immediately. A woman asked if I was safe, and I thought she had the wrong number, so I told her I was driving and asked what was happening. She said, "We received a disconnected 911 call from this number." I looked at my phone sitting in the cup holder. I hadn't touched it since leaving work. I told her I never called. She asked me to confirm my name and address, and then she said, "The caller reported that someone was inside your home." I nearly missed my turn. I asked what caller she was talking about. The dispatcher said a woman had whispered into the phone for about 20 seconds before the call disconnected. The woman gave me my full address, and she also gave my name. I told the dispatcher I lived alone and wasn't home yet. And there was a pause, and then she told me not to go inside. 2 officers were already on their way. I pulled into a gas station about a mile from my house and waited. The dispatcher stayed on the phone with me, and I asked whether the call could have come from another number, and she said no. It came from mine. I checked my recent calls while she was talking, and there was no outgoing call to 911. The dispatcher asked whether anyone else had access to my phone account, and I said no. And then she asked, "Is there another phone inside your house?" I had an old cell phone in a kitchen drawer, but it wasn't connected to a service plan. She said emergency calls could sometimes still go through from disconnected phones. That explanation made me feel slightly better. Maybe the old phone had malfunctioned somehow. Maybe someone had accidentally triggered it months ago and the account information was still attached to my name. And then the dispatcher said, "The caller was speaking in your voice." I stopped breathing for a second. I asked how she could possibly know that. And she said they record all emergency calls, and the woman had said my name several times. The dispatcher had just heard me speaking long enough to recognize the similarity. I told her people's voices can sound alike over the phone, and she agreed, but she didn't sound convinced. The officers arrived at my house before I did, and they told me to remain at the gas station until they cleared it. I sat there with the engine running, staring at the road that led back to my neighborhood. About 10 minutes later, an officer called and said the house was empty. All the doors were locked and the windows were closed, and nothing appeared disturbed. He asked me to meet them outside, and when I arrived, both officers were standing